Betters. What's up, people? Welcome, Bow Betters. Man, I look fat. Hopefully, we got some sound. I'm going to do the sound check as always. Welcome to Sip and Smoke, where we discuss mixed martial arts, smoke cigars, and usually drink a premium IPA or lager. Today, I'm actually having one of these really cheap original club. Look at these things, these cheap things. 10% Sex on the Beach thing. Eating that with my bad lunch. So nothing fabulous here, but we are going to have a very, very good cigar with us. I should actually flip this. Boom. Flip this. There's our cigar. The Espinosa Laranja Azulejo. I'm not certain of the meaning of it. A really nice sheen on that cigar, if you could, hard to tell there. Let's see if I'm live before I discuss more and more. Always just talking. Not even sure if we are. Oh yeah, Let's see if we are live. We are live. But I hope everyone's doing really well. Again, welcome to Sip and Smoke. We're MMA Sip and Smoke. Sorry. We're going to discuss some MMA. That was 3 MMs or M's. It doesn't really count that way. So I think I'm live. If I get a confirmation in the chat that we have some sound, that would be cool. But I was very interested in this Espinosa cigar. I brought some other cigars. I just came back from. Hold on, let's confirm the sound first, guys. All right, we are live. We are live. Sweet. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hopefully the mic picks me up. It's going to be a little further from where I'm at, but I'm interested in this cigar. I've spent the past few days in Costa Rica smoking Cuban cigars, so that'd be very interesting. I'm not going to do a head-to-head with Cuban cigars, and there was another cigar that I brought a couple Cubans back with me. Could say that, I guess. Who's going to come and grab me? But yes, I did bring some Partagas Series D cigars back. This cigar I got from Norwood Park Cigar here in Chicago. Norwood Park Cigar. The selection there is fantastic. I would argue that they might have some of the best whitest cigar selection in Chicago, and that's why I didn't. I didn't go to Binny's. Mentioning the Norwood Park Cigar Company, because the selection is just fabulous. I have never had this Espinosa Laranja Azulejo. Really would love to know a little bit more about it. All I know is that it's out of the Espinosa factory, which is in Nicaragua, of course. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it Nicaragua? Yeah, I think it's Nicaragua, not Honduran, but Nicaraguan. So very excited about this cigar. Oh shit! Don't do that. As just the sheen, the wrapper looked really good. I wasn't sure if it was a Maduro. And again, it's that there it is, Azulejo. Beautiful band. Azul is blue. I don't know the meaning of the blue, and I'm assuming La Laranja is sort of the name of the farm or the territory where it's at. So we're going to smoke this with. I also have some Lagunitas, just basic Lagunitas, something. That's why there wasn't a beer, sort of a sip to go with this. I did bring back some Flor de Cano 18-year-old rum that we'll have at a different time. Today is just not the day for it, but we're going to smoke this thing. We're going to see how it smokes. Talk maybe some MMA here. Of course, we're always talking MMA here. Let me see if I can get... Oh, shit. Oh, that wasn't good. 1 second here, guys. 1 second here, fellas. Yeah, let me see if I can get... No one's in the chat. That's all right. What was it that somebody supposedly is in the chat. Oh, no, I went back to that short mode. Shit. Fuck. You gotta be kidding me, man. Come on. Are you serious? Fucking me like that? Yeah, that stays in the big mode that way, but not when I do this. Or when I do this, let's see. Come on. Computer. Streamlabs, please. Cooperate. No, it puts me in that mode again, that window. I did install and uninstall the application before, so not cool. I don't know how to fix this here to get me out of this mode. And I thought that we were good until I did something. Until I did something there, guys. Let's see here. Boom. Let me see if I could do this. Yeah, I could do this. All right, so this is going to still somewhat work. Let's see if that works. Come on. No, it still puts it in that mode. Boy. Oh well. We'll do it like this. Oh shit. That doesn't matter actually. Am I crooked? All right, hold on. That's why nobody watches this stuff. I struggle with every little aspect of it. Boom. Hold on here, guys. All right. Let's see if that does anything. Where am I at here? Here. Technical difficulties, as always. As always. Yeah, I didn't want to be sort of with my legs in the picture, but it looks like that's what it's going to be. Let me do this. Happy with that. No one's in the chat. Oh, shit. God damn it. Come on, buddy. You think you hear me real? How about you get this closer, maybe? Try to get the mic closer. You're in the backyard. Might have to actually go in for some pants soon, too. It's not that warm out here. All right, we got the fights. Looks like the first fight is Modestus Bukauskas versus Zach Pagao. Before we get to that, let's crack open. Let's talk about the watch check, the Timex which one was this one? Was this the Timex Expedition? Maybe, no, it's a Timex. I forgot which one this was. But it's that Timex right there. I think you guys have seen this one. It actually lost money that went back and retained its value. It's not like a very special cigar at all. But, yeah, it looks sick on the camera, though, huh? Looks rather nice. I kept the original strap on it, put it with my butterflies that I always do. What I like about it, of course, it has the indigo luminescence, right? You can't tell, you can't really see. Not a skeletal back, or a see-through or skeletal back, right? But really nice watch, keeps time rather well. Inexpensive, like less than $100. I think this thing was like at $49 at one point. For $49, it was a steal. If you could still find this for that price, I think it's a Waterbury Chrono. If you could find it for under $70, it's a good buy. I'm not impressed with the quality of the steel. It's very light. The strap is very nice leather. I like the strap, but I'm not impressed with the quality of the steel. But it's keeping time well. There's something about the mechanics that I also don't like. It's sort of petty, but it's a decent chrono. It's a decent chrono. Most people don't even use the functions. Looks great. Matches the shoes. Matches the shoes first. Matches shoes. Match shoes, right? Match shoes. So good watch. So there's the watch check. No one's in the chat. Hopefully I still have sound. I couldn't even check it out if I wanted to. I don't have something to break open this beer where I don't have to go on out and go off camera again, because I'm going off camera a little too much, but I'm going to have to. So we'll be right back. Well, I think I don't mind this starting and ending this way. Is that the amount of viewership I have is so little. I have like 40 people basically watching. It's like, all right, whatever. People that know me, that want to watch it, are going to watch it. Other people are not. Like why even bother with it? Put some pillows here. Let's get pillows. I'm excited about this cigar. When I was in Costa Rica, man, Big A, shout out to Big A, who stepped up and bought, a pretty impressive Cohiba and some other cigars. We got a source of and some taste into some nice Cuban cigars that, were of superb quality, rarity, just stuff you can't get. The Azulejo, as you can see, there has this silk band that's blue there. I don't think it's named Azulejo for that. There's got to be something else. There's a lot of blue in the band, of course, but there has to be something else that it is signifying. Again, I got this from Norwood Cigars here in Chicago. If you're in Chicago, this is a place to go to cigar, as well as Up Down Cigars. But if you're in my area, in the far north side, that's the spot to go to, is the Norwood Park Cigars. But this cigar, just wanted to try something different. I always smoke the same sort of stuff, right? I'm always smoking the same things. This is an Espinosa cigar. I may have reviewed previously an Espinosa cigar, something from the Espinosa factory, because the Espinosa factory is rather well known. It's a nice box pressing, really nice band. Has a nice E there, has a nice touch as well. Fantastic sheen on the wrapper. Not a lot of, it has a little, like two areas that I was surprised that the wrapper is the way it is. I see it's broken up in two areas. So I'm concerned a little bit about that in terms of its leaf. Again, if someone can help me with my sound. So we had a discussion about where to cut the cigars. And on this cigar has a big cap. You see that line right there? You could cut up to that line. I don't recommend even going that far. I personally just cut the tip off, right? You go halfway through or halfway through. I don't even get near that cap line because what I'll do is I'll just cut it and that cap's going to pull off anyways. So I would avoid cutting past this line, past the cap right there. Avoid that. It could damage the integrity of the wrapper. You don't need that much of a cut. It really is just a simple top cut. You actually didn't really see very well, but there's a laranja. See, like just here, we're gonna just the tip, guys. See that? Just the tip. Can you see that thing? Does it come out okay? Like here, see here? It won't even fit. Where do you want to do it? Look at the cutter won't fit past where it really needs to go in this instance because the ring gauge is so wide. Ring gauge meaning the diameter of the cigar. So you could just fit it and just go with it, right? And you're going to get a good cut. See the cap's still in tight, even though it's in an angle. I wouldn't worry about that. The cap is still part of the cap is still there. You're going to get a good draw. Some people like to draw it initially. I do. Some people think it's a faux pas to like now take a draw of the cigar. Like look, that even though it's an angle, it is still the cap. Part of the cap is still there. So this is a decent cut. It got a lot of the tobacco out of it. It is at a weird angle, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be straight. It's still going to smoke well, right? It's still going to draw very well because you can see a lot of the cigar roll. Really nice tight binding there. We're still going to get a good draw on it. This is a very good looking cigar. Very nice smelling. Not a lot of spice. A little funk. It's the funk. It's that smell I like. That fermentation that it's been in sitting and waiting for me for years. I like that it has been. Can I get somebody in the chat, please, to make sure that I have some sound going and I'm just not wasting all this commentary on nothing? But here's the thing about Cuban cigars, guys. Especially when you go to Mexico, Latin America, do not buy your Cuban cigars or your cigars off the streets. How do you think somebody that maybe makes $100 a month is able to walk around with a $500 to $1,000 box of cigars, with a box of Cohiba cigars? I mean, it's just not. They're fakes, right? Like you know this. Like it's even difficult to find a legitimate Cuban source in those countries. Probably even in Cuba or Dominican Republic or Mexico, right? So don't be fooled. Really read up on the reviews on the cigar shop that you're at, because there will be reviews, whether you're in the Dominican Republic or you're in Costa Rica or Mexico. There is going to be information that people have shared with the interwebs, with the internet, to corroborate or to substantiate whether they're a good source for Cuban cigars and for cigars. So I would do that. Second of all, what I would do is don't buy by price. Like if you don't know what you're doing, then don't buy the Cuban cigar, right? Like don't buy it just because it's a cheap one. You buy by what you enjoy, and then also like what you can't get. Like if you can't get a cigar, even if it's like not what you like, you try that cigar, or you bring it for somebody else to bring it. The two cigars I brought back, I just brought back two. I didn't want to like be crazy or worry about like, okay, if I buy like 20 of them and they flag me, I get confiscated 20 cigars at $30 a piece, right? So I'm out like, what is that, $500 or whatever, $600? So I didn't want that. I'd rather just try to bring a couple back, and I don't need to sell them. I wouldn't mind selling them. I could definitely double them up. I could sell them for $60 easily, is probably what I would demand, and then take the lowest 50, right? Like I could do that, but that wasn't my intention with the cigars. They are for personal use. Off the burn, Very nice, very strong earth notes, strong wood notes. But beware of where you buy your cigars, your Cuban cigars. Even your local cigars. You can support your local cigar shop as opposed to Benny's. I'm all for it. I'm thinking my local guy's prices are just as good as Benny's. So I'm going to be there more, and his selection really might be better. I think it is better, right, than Benny's. So that's good for me because my local guy is actually closer. Lots of wood, strong cedar, lots of cedar, nice smoke, very woody, tons of cedar, little spice right now, but I think that'll go. Not a lot of creaminess, not a lot of oil to it initially. There is a little more spice to it. A lighter body, I thought it would be more full. Yeah, more of a very wood base, a cedar base with a little spice there. Not a peppery spice, more of a paprika kind of a light, sort of unoffensive spice, but still rather nice. We'll see how it goes. The first impressions are just that cedar, that wood. This tobacco is probably it's been sitting there for a while. It's probably very good tobacco. All right. Espinosa, well-known cigar maker. Can't go wrong with Lagunitas little something something. Solid beer. Didn't put the beer in the title because it's more about the cigar today. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, very different from smoking Cubans. We had access to some very, very good Cuban cigars. The Cuban cigars we had in Costa Rica were well sourced. We had very premium, very select, exclusive access to fantastic smokes, and we took advantage of it. I wish I'd taken more advantage of it. I was a little late to the party because I was busy surfing in the evening and doing other things and during the day sometimes. But yeah, should have went there a little bit more. Should have grabbed more of the cigars that were available. But you've got to be cautious. I think, and I'm not positive of this, guys, that cigars are still under an embargo. I know that. Well, I thought that Obama lifted the embargo, but I don't know if U.S. Customs or what the deal was, if they overturned it. I wish I was clearer on it, but I didn't want to risk bringing more than a couple cigars because I also bought a bottle of rum, which was completely legal, bag of coffee, which was completely legal. A great combination if you're coming back from the Dominican Republic or from from Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Honduras. You're in Honduras, you buy cigars. You buy their rum, you buy some of their coffee, and you're good to go. Like that's the triple threat. That's the best combination of every country you go to. Same for Mexico. You buy some Mexican coffee, you buy some Mexican cigars, and some tequila. You're good, right? You're in Barbados. You buy the Barbados rum. Some I think they have cigars, but I'm definitely good rum. But you know, and then some cigars, right? Like pick out some cigars, grab some cigars. You could access Cubans there. Be cautious of your source of Cuban cigars. We were very fortunate. I didn't vent or what do they call it, whatever, where you assess who the person is that is selling it before my friends actually got there. They were confident that they were legit, and they indeed were. Like they were very legit. The source was very legit, high quality, just fantastic, out of the world cigars. And got to take advantage of it. Wish I'd smoked more of them. No one's in the chat. No one's in the chat still. That's okay. So because this is the audience is also for your cigar people. This Espinosa, again, a little peppery, lots of cedar, lots of wood, burning nicely outdoors here, as you can tell. Not bad, but so different than the Cuban flavor. Like you really taste this now, the Honduran flavor. And I wonder if the Cuban cigars, one thing that I'm curious about is if they're curing them, curious and curer, if they're sitting on them as long as Honduras has. I don't think that Cuba has the surplus of tobacco. And if they do, it's going to be surplus that's going to become their ultra premium products. That's going to be on the, some of their more special cigars, and you're gonna you as us in the public here aren't going to have very easy access to those. I like to pride our show and what we do here with access that you can have. You could go to Binny's, you could go to your local guy and find this Laranja Azulejo as well as your Lagunitas. It's accessible to you. Like why show you shit that's exclusive that nobody else can have when it just doesn't make any sense. I think it's better interest to discuss things and to provide information on things that are accessible to you, that are affordable for you, and not out of a price range. We don't need to get there. We're not going to review Camus. We're going to review, the best Cohiba cigar, which the Espelade, or I won't forget the name of it. The cigar that Big A had. He paid $60 American over there in Costa Rica. That cigar over here in the States will run you $300. I should have brought a couple of those back. Just dropped the ball on there, but also didn't want to risk, the possibility of losing that money trying to get those in. So I did what I did. I'm happy with it. Should have had one just for the hell of having it. I would have loved the ones that I did want. He had a box of Cohiba Maduros that I hadn't seen in a long time. Cuban Maduros I haven't seen in a long time. But I didn't want to break up his box. He might have sold me one or two for $60 a piece, but I thought it was better for him and for his clients, and I think he's going to sell that box. I think he's going to be able to sell that box. He won't need to break it up. He's going to sell that box, or maybe he gets desperate, whatever. He's still going to make his money back. Yeah, lots of wood. Where you buy your cigars from, whether local or at your bigger spot, even some of the Binnies are going to be better than others. Like Binnies is big, right? Like they have over 300 stores, so they're going to be able to maybe provide a little better of a price for you. But maybe your local guy has a better selection, maybe better conditioned cigars, and maybe has something that, like when we went there, like in Costa Rica, where Binny's doesn't have a back door, doesn't have a back room. Where like you go to Costa Rica, you go to some of these places, there might be some boxes that someone pulls from the back for you, which we were fortunate of, right? I didn't buy any of the ones I wanted, but I should have taken part of those cohibas that we could have got from the back room or from the back humidor. But that's the big difference in between Binny's and your local guys. Your local guy is going to know what you've had, remember what you want. You're dealing with the same people consistently, whether it's Binny's, it's just like many random employees that could walk in there with you, and they're not going to remember like what you had last or what your palate might be, what your taste might be. Admittedly, like the guy, I'm burping. The guy at Norwood Park isn't all there with me either yet. I've been there a couple times. I may not be there as frequently as a lot of other people. Because I go to Binny's a lot, I don't mind going to the big corporate place. But I think I might change my mind. Or my habit, because I think like Norwood Park Cigars, his prices are as competitive, which is amazing. Like if he's able to compete against the big box guys, and the prices, and he had some prices on like the nub, for example, that was less than Binny's. He had some prices that were less, and he had a far more extensive vintage and more premium cigar selection than Binny's. So he's able to keep more inventory. He's got more space, and he's risking it. But it doesn't matter with cigars, because cigars are like things that appreciate in value, and you could sit on them. They could stay in the humidor. You're not going to lose any value on them, right? Like you're always going to get your money, at least your money back. In fact, you almost can sell them at a premium, even though you won't. So it's like favorable for you as a cigar smoker to go to a place like Norm. I'm basically talking myself into going to like Norwood Park Cigars more than Binny's. I just need to patronize that guy a little bit more, get my, use him as my source for my local cigars, for the stuff that's here, that's all domesticated, and go for there because, those two reasons. And I'm supporting somebody local. The pepperiness is gone, or that spiciness. Not really spicy, a little more paprika. And now there's a little nice, natural, vegetable. Excellent earth, more leather, still that strong wood. Really an excellent cigar. Right out the gate, I'm gonna go 7.5. 7.5, not quite. It's got a good aroma, not quite the signature or definitive diversity that I like, but still not a bad cigar at all. It's a little lighter body than I expected. It had a darker wrapper, so I wanted that richer, fuller experience with the cigar. Very nice, though. Great product. You can taste that little fermentation there at the finish, where it's well aged. It's been well kept. Good cedar, strong cedar notes. With that nice sort of verdura, that vegetal finish, like of a vegetable, which is fantastic. That finish, the finish on the cigar is excellent. I prefer that over the wood, as well as the cedar. The cedar or the earth tone. That vegetable finish is what I'm looking for. Whether it's unripe plantain, right, green plantain, that it's like some vegetational farm-like quality or farm-like taste. I don't care if it's even not potato, but yuca. Yuca. One thing in Costa Rica, my favorite thing, something so friggin' simple, is they make a puree mashed potatoes out of yuca and potato. Tastes so fucking good. They mix it with a little butter, and a little cream. Can't go wrong with that. That is really nice. And we also had another flavor that you'll find in the cigars. I took the guys to totones, which is a plantain, like the more, not the green plantain, but which are good too. And you can mix the green with the little yellow plantain and get a very nice flavor. And I think they almost did that here. I think it was more of the yellow plantain. It was very light, with a light little sweetness, light color. Fried is excellent. So, you know, you'll find that flavor note in a cigar. It's windy as hell out here, guys. Why is nobody with me? I'm still live. And at this point, we have been going live for I don't know how long, and we've yet to have one person in. It's probably Thursday, and people are at the other shows. They're not interested in listening to some fat dude smoking cigars. But I love that. It's slightly green, so that's okay. Because I still know that the wood and the cedar meant that it had good fermentation. And you're still tasting that green because of maybe the area that it was grown. I think this is a cigar to sit on. It still might be, it's ripe, but it's ripe, but it's not quite all there. So it really needed a little bit more aging. I've said this a lot about a lot of different cigars, but this one definitely is a cigar to sit on, and it's going to change. And I think that plant, that vegetable, that verdura flavor is going to become more refined, and it's going to make this cigar a very, very, very good cigar. It just needs a little more time in the humidor to even itself out, to breathe a little bit. I bet it's been stacked with a bunch of other tobacco in its fermentation stack for a long time. And that's why it has that strong cedar characteristic with that little spice initially, but the spice is pretty much gone. Another thing about, oh man, that's a nice puff there. Very nice. Another thing about Cuban cigars opposed to these Honduran cigars is this Cuban cigars require a lot more attention. You have to pay attention. It's better to not relight them so much. Whereas these Honduran, a lot of Dominican cigars, you don't have to provide them with much attention. They seem to burn a little more uniform, not necessarily uniformly, but they burn a lot longer. Longer, but you don't have to puff them as much. Whereas this Cuban cigar will go out. That's another signature of a Cuban cigar. And you know you got a Cuban if you're not puffing it, like after, very subtly, after, very quick or small intervals, it will go out. Whereas these cigars, you could let it alone for a little bit. It's not going to go out for a while. Whereas a Cuban cigar is going to go out. And I would say try not to let your Cuban cigar, or even your regular cigar, your Dominican, Honduran, Nicaraguan, Salvadorian, Mexican, wherever your cigar is from, Indonesia, Sumatran, try to keep it lit. Don't let it go out, because the longer it stays not lit, I think the oils could coagulate very quickly, just like a cold sausage or a cold piece of meat, especially like barbecue or something that's very fatty, or even a steak. Like you want the steak to rest, but you let it rest too long, it's going to develop fat. You're going to see all this fat on the top of it, literally like white specks on your steak once it gets cold. And it's similar to a cigar, whereas if the cigar will get hard, the oils will stay in one place. It'll become just not as refined as a smoke, because then you're relighting those oils that were cold, and it just ruins the cigar to an extent. To an extent, you want to keep your cigar lit. It's nice to have those lighters where you're relighting them. You don't want to really do that. I relight them, of course. Everybody gets difficult, especially when you're talking, but you want to try to remain consistently smoking and keeping your cigar lit. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. I could tell we're not at the middle yet, but we're definitely upgrading this cigar in terms of its rating. It's going to go past that 7.5 mark without a doubt. It has very, very nice vegetable tones. Excellent. Like the draw is fine. I could tell the construction is fantastic. The placation is very good. Just a fine cigar. The strength of the wood is diminishing a little bit, reading more into the vegetable floral sort of spectrum of what the flavors are. Very nice, burning well still. Very nice cigar. We're going to get in that 8 range for easily, guys. I love that it's changing. We're not even at the midpoint, and it's already gotten better. Don't tap out Asher cigars. Don't worry about that little coning. That's more indicative of Cuban cigars do that as well, not quite as much. That's not bad at coning, but I didn't tap it out. The wind here took care of that for me. There's still some wind getting through. I'm gonna puff on this sucker for a second, get it relit, get it cherried a little bit, get it not too hot, because then you don't want to get your cigar too hot either. Get it lit so that I can go and I need to change and put on some pants because it's getting a little chillier out here, even though it's pretty nice. Definitely compared to Costa Rica, it's chilly. With the jacket on, definitely miss that hot heat. It was nice smoking a cigar at night in Costa Rica, I'll tell you that much. Sitting outside, smoking cigars, looking at the thunder and the lightning, or looking at the lightning, I should say, the mountains, hearing the ocean. Nothing better, fellas. Give me a moment. I'll be right back with some pants. We'll talk some shit, talk some shop. Still no one here. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody that does actually watch the stream. I know it's tough. You can't hear me very well. Camera quality isn't good. Right? But it's okay. I appreciate all you people. Please like and subscribe. Talk of the first match on this card. Let's just talk generally about the card. Zach Bukal, I'm not that interested in, but I should be. Because Modestas Bukauskas is a very inconsistent fighter. Ronnie Lawrence, inconsistent. Zougalis, inconsistent. Carlos Hernandez versus Denise Bendor, inconsistent. Kyung Hong Kang, inconsistent. Right? Jimmy Flick. This is a fight of like guys that, a card I should say. Marcus Dalby, inconsistent. Muslim Salikov, inconsistent. These are guys that are like, this is a tough betting card. But, you know, Pat Sabatini, like none of these guys are solid. None. Up and down the card, except like Arman Tsarukyan. I like Arman Tsarukyan against Hakeem Silva, but that's a tough card. Vettori is super consistent, and so is Jared Cannonier. Like, that's a good matchup because each are like just solid guys. Like, I think that's going to go the distance, and I got to favor Marvin Vettori all day. Like, he just has the better all-around skills. He might have better boxing even. Great, better cardio than Jared Cannonier. But this is a card very difficult. Other than Arman Tsarukyan, this is not a favorable betting card in my opinion. I haven't even looked at the odds, we've mentioned this. I'm not focused on the gambling as much as I have been of late. I haven't been gambling as much, which is fine. But I would be cautious on this card. Very cautious. Hopefully the lines, I didn't bring up all the lines up here, but hopefully like the lines are very close in most of these fights. I don't see like definitive favorites other than Arman Tsarukyan and maybe Pat Sabatini. Pat Sabatini, is that the Alabama that has a brother? He might be, he might be put in against some decent competition. So I'm initially favoring Sabatini, but his finishing ability is inconsistent. There's a lot of inconsistent fighters on this card. All the favorites here, or people that probably are the favorites, or at least I can see just guesstimating them, are not very consistent fighters. They're not trustworthy in terms of laying down your cash on this card. This is a tough card to find spots on. I'm leaning to maybe looking at some of the other stuff on Bellator or parlaying some of these better favorites like Vettori, depending on where he's at, with maybe some favorite in the Bellator card. And I have to look at that card to really determine that in itself. But I'm really not liking this from a betting standpoint at all. And that's become easier for me because even though I am about just not betting as much, especially since I was in a big slump, that's why I haven't been able to report big wins or losses to you guys, because it's been like breaking even. And I've only been betting like 2 or 3 fights an event, right? Like just small bets, nothing fantastic, nothing to justify my opinion one way or the other. Although I've happened to, always going to mention something, always going to discuss a fight. But in this card, I'm not very happy with it at all. Like, I initially, I see that I like Muslim Salikov, right? I like Jimmy Flick. But Costa, I'm not certain which Costa that is. I like Kyung Hong Kong, right, against Dustin Quinones, but he's very inconsistent again. I'm not really leaning towards or favoring any of these fighters except Arman Tsarukyan. Like, find somebody. I bet Arman Tsarukyan, I didn't even look at it. He's probably like minus 300 almost. if he's in that range, find somebody for him to parlay him with. Maybe Marvin Vittori, Arman Sarukian is the play, but I mean, that would be pretty much it. But if that's the Silva that has the two brothers that are Silvas, that's going to be dangerous. But I think that Arman's wrestling, his control, his boxing, his counter jiu-jitsu, his counter wrestling is going to allow him to win this fight outright. Arman Sarukian is my pick for this fight, but that's not saying anything. Everybody's going to pick Sarukian, right? So let's see what happens, but not the best betting card at all. I haven't seen, in terms of the numbers, I haven't seen the numbers. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I'd like to know what you guys are doing. I'd respond to it in the comments section. Nobody ever comments. Nobody ever comments about the cigars, about the beer, whatever. So we're just talking here. We're just talking shit. Talking shit channel. But everything's going good. Vacation was good. Surfing was good. Didn't catch many waves. Could have done a lot better, but I'm way out of shape, guys. Way out of shape. Way out of my timing. Way out of my element with the lack of water time. I can make a lot of excuses. So just excuses on the gambling part, excuses on the surfing part. A lot of guys don't want to hear that, but I guess the main thing is that you don't like quit and I keep on telling people to like get yourselves out there, do something a little different, get out of your norm, step out of your shell, make an adventure for yourself. So I had a little adventure. We had some adventure, nothing great. We had some great adventures, but that's the key. Step out of your norm, make it adventure. Don't stay playing video games all the time. You're spending money doing a lot of shit that you could spend your money doing, like some adventurous shit. That's all I'm saying. We're in the middle. Bigger draw. Strong wood. Wood turning more to leather. It still has that vegetal taste to it. Little green. That's okay. I like that little green taste to it. A lot of people want it to be smooth and creamy, or vanilla, or deep chocolates. I thought I'd expect a little more chocolate from this particular wrapper. I wasn't necessarily, I don't know if it was a Maduro, but because of the dark color, I thought it could have had that more character, and it doesn't, but that's okay. Smoke the cigar for what it is. Don't let your presumption and your presupposition of what it should taste like or you expect it to really guide your taste buds. Let your taste buds determine what it tastes like and go from there. I'm very impressed with the cigar. It's in that $11 range, $11, $12 range, which is okay. We could be in that range, guys. We could find the $5 cigars. I found those for you. We have a few of them. Please go through my watch list and look at this. As I mentioned, the cigar salesman that I discussed with was like, I had like no bad cigars. There's no bad cigars that we've smoked on Sip and Smoke. All of them are actually very, 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 very good cigars. Some are better value than others, but you can't go wrong getting any of these cigars. They're all fantastic. It's just me. I just pick well, Not always, because in the gambling I don't pick well. I pick better in the beer and the cigars than I do the gambling of late. That's why the emphasis on the cigars and the beer, because those are reigning more true, more genuine, and just as enjoyable. Right? There's no risk to getting one of these premium cigars. It's very hard to find a bad premium cigar. It's really like the taste palette, the taste range, the taste spectrum that you're going to be rewarded with. And when you find that you like Brian, he liked his Romeo and Julieta Cubans, not a bad Cuban. He kept on buying them. I told him, hey, you should diversify. But, some people like what they like, and they want to smoke what they like to smoke. If you enjoy you found that's your cigar, that's what you enjoy doing, by all means, go on ahead. I shouldn't be one, or nobody should be one to tell you, hey, but one of the great parts of cigars is the diversity. Just like beer, It's trying different beer. Like we could have the same beer all the time, but the best part of like cigars is like, man, there's so many different flavors, so much stuff out there that you could find another one that you like that could be your all time favorite. More full. The oils are starting to get there. Great richness to it. Very nice. The verdura or that vegetal flavor is gotten not it's gotten more ripe. It's not as unripe or not as green right now, and I think the heat is doing that. Definitely a cigar that needs to be sat on a little while longer, allowed to breathe because it's been in its other environment before with a lot of tobacco, a lot of other cigars. Is definitely an 8 right now, and I think you could by the end of this cigar, I'm anticipating it to be close to an 8.5, or not necessarily a 9, but an 8.5. It could get the 9, but really nice cigar. I don't know if it makes the 9 club, but I love the end vegetation taste, that little not quite sweetness of vegetable, like carrot. And yes, I said carrot. I said carrot. I use that as a flavor note. Why not? Still has that, not a lot of nut, but more that wood and cedar. But with this, like I said, a vegetable verdura, so we call them verduras, vegetable sort of characteristic to it that isn't sweet. So carrots describes that to me. The carrots can be sweet. Your carrot juice here is going to be sweet. A ton of carrot juice. Like, oh shit, this is carrot juice. It tastes like a juice, like orange juice, and it's a carrot juice. So it has that soft sweetness to it, which is very, very good. With that nice earth, nice cedar. Not bad at all. There have been a couple people in the stream, but they're gone. And they're gone because, yes, it is an MMA channel, and I don't have the insight this week. Admittedly, I've not done the research. I know these fighters. I would just be cautious. Just advise you to be cautious. This card, I think it's a card that I might stay hyper aware away from. I really like the main event, Vettori Cannonier. I think that Vettori decision, it's probably going to be only like at plus 150, plus 130, right? Like I think he's going to be the favorite, and that might be the play. I don't think he finishes Cannonier. I don't think Vettori's worked on his jiu-jitsu enough, even though he's had it earlier in his career. Great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu. Again, we go back to guys that should have developed and stepped up their game and could have been champions, right? Like Vettori had his opportunity, but really improved his striking, but just neglected some of his wrestling and especially his jiu-jitsu. Like if Vettori knew jiu-jitsu, like, man, the guy would be so dangerous. Same with Cannonier. If he knew any wrestling and any jiu-jitsu, like Cannonier is just a one-dimensional fighter. He's a stand-up guy. Like if you could survive Cannonier round 1, by the time round 4 or 5, Vettori might get a finish. Vettori takes him down, might get a ground and pound finish round 4 or 5. That's something like to take a look at, guys. Right? That number, whatever it is, just take a look at it. I think Vettori has that opportunity. He is the better finishing upside. He's a decisionator, but I think he could finish Cannonier. I think round 4 or 5, Vettori keeps it still a good pace. He tires a little bit, but he keeps a good pace. He tires, but because he's just such an aggressive guy. And I think against Cannonier, he's going to be able to piece Cannonier up a little bit. He's going to be the quicker fighter. He's going to have the better movement. I think he's going to have the crisper boxing, the huge wrestling upside. And, man, maybe he comes back and he shows us. I think it's not out of the question that Vettori could show us that he still has a jiu-jitsu player's mindset. I wish he developed it better over time. And again, I don't know, like, I think a lot of the coaches that these guys coach with, they let the fighter sort of dominate what the game plan could be. And I think the better fighters in the UFC listen to their coaches and let the coaches enhance what they already have. Enhance the tools that they have, create a strategy, create a game plan, and then go out there and you listen to those coaches. And if you do execute what they're telling you to do, because they're critical, they see what you're doing wrong, right? They see your weaknesses. And a coach that isn't willing to tell you what your weaknesses are and work on your weaknesses isn't worth their weight. Like they're just like, I hate to say it, like Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, but like Conor McGregor. Like he's allowing he can't say anything to Conor McGregor anymore. Conor McGregor has turned into the coach, right? He's just coaching himself, which isn't good. 1 second, guys. Oh, forgot a beer. Whoa, look at them. Damn, Rio, get over here, Rio. Good boy. Just saw a whole bunch of raccoons. Haven't seen those in a while. Better be careful, buddy. Huh? They'll come and get you. Just a little young. Not quite fully ripe, but a really nice smoke. Definitely an 8, guys. I don't think it's going to make the 9 club. It just is not as uniform as I'd like it to be. I love its diversity. I love it that it's changing throughout. Better draw now. Very interesting cigar. Very interested in what its construction is. Very happy with it. So different than Cubans. I could see why people enjoy Cubans and what Cuban cigars are, because they have a universal, not a universal, but they're consistent throughout the cigars. The flavor in a Cuban cigar is it has the beginning, middle, end, but it's very consistent. Like it's subtle differences in the tobacco taste, and the way it burns throughout the cigar. Whereas like, I think Honduran cigars, Dominican cigars change so much, but the Cuban tobacco is so resilient. It's that is what its characteristic is. It is more defined in from its beginning to middle end. It's more consistent in its flavor throughout the cigar, whereas other cigars I think change as you're smoking them, which is fine. But one thing about the Cuban cigars is they have a very consistent flavor throughout most of the cigar. It smokes very uniformly and very consistent. See that guys. When it isn't gonna want, when the wrapper doesn't want to come off, don't force the wrapper to come off. Oh shit! Give it a little more time. Don't burn the fucking goddamn house down. There's a little like natural glue that holds the wrapper there. Let it get there. This is a big wrapper though, by the way. That is gonna tough to get the glue. It isn't burning hot at all. We're out here. It's cooler, so obviously it's not gonna burn as hot. Horrible job with the wrapper here, guys. With the band, I mean. Look at that. You don't want this to happen. Right there. Showed you guys in front of you guys. This is not good. You want it to come off uniformly. It's okay because it didn't damage the cigar. But it probably, the cigar just, which is good. It isn't burning hot. It really isn't. It's cooler out right now, but you don't want that to happen. It was premature, but we're pretty damn close to the top of the band because it's a big band. Burning very cool, guys. Strong cedar. Strong cedar taste. Yeah, up and down this card, guys. Back to the MMA. Like, just not as impressed. I mean, I have, I don't have the computer like to show the lines here, but cautious. Definitely no parlays of most parlays on this card, other than maybe Armand and Vittori. I don't know what that's going to get you. Careful betting any of these favorites. All these favorites are very inconsistent fighters. I would not parlay this card at all, except maybe that Armand Sarukian and Vittori parlay, maybe, right? Like, does Cannonier have a chance? Absolutely. Is Sarukian a super lock? No, he isn't. Whatever number he's at. But be very cautious on the parlays. Maybe avoid the parlays. Yeah, I'm very interested in if this is a finisher kind of card. It seems like a lot of decisionators, but maybe I'm going to be wrong. I hope that I am wrong, because from a fan standpoint, we all like finishes. We like seeing a bunch of finishes. I think this is a card that we're really going to be very surprised about. We're going to be surprised about a lot of what takes place, which makes it a lot harder to predict and a lot harder to speculate with. So I'm going to back off from this card as usual again for the past little bit. I got my vacation coming up. Just came back from Costa Rica. I'm going to, just stay away from some of this here. And that's what I'm going to do, guys. Like, I wish I had better information for you. Maybe that's why a lot of people are gone. I don't have the viewership that I once had, but that's all right. We're going to still sip and smoke. We're going to still talk MMA. There are definitely going to be cards where I hope to provide some better information. Don't have the information on this card, guys. Without a doubt, there's nothing. But that being said, I'm not. Unlike other people that are just going to spew out some numbers, talk about their previous fights, all this other stuff to you, try to justify you one way or another. I'm not going to do that for you or to you. I'm going to advise you to refrain, maybe to get a better card where we get better reads than this card in itself, right? And if you got a read, you got something, put it in the comment section. I'll comment on it. I'll respond. I get no comments. More people comment, I'll interact with you. I'll let you guys know something. But I think it's a stay away card. I don't think it's a dog or pass card even. It is very inconsistent. It's a non-parlay. Find and pick and choose your props. It's like we have a prop card, and I'm very curious on the over under on the finishes on this card. I'm right now. I'm like 50-50. I'm like, I bet it's even money on like 5 and 5 or whatever it is. How many fights are on it? It's something that you're going to want to be mindful of, even from a prop standpoint. You have to be very cautious of this card. Parlay card, absolutely not. Absolutely. If you make a great parlay, great, man. I'm happy for you, man. I'm staying away from it. I think that it's a bunch of inconsistent fighters. It's a value card. I think you can't make it. Do not bet don't put the giant favorite in a parlay. This is a good dog parlay card, if anything. If anything, like you put a couple dogs together to make that good plus money, because the favorites are everybody's inconsistent except for Vittori and Cannonier, and Sarukian. Those three fighters, super consistent. To an extent, I would say that even not Jimmy Flick, but Pat Sabatini is somewhat consistent, but not really. Like, again, very inconsistent. Like, it's like what Pat Sabatini is going to show up. If he has a jiu-jitsu or a wrestling advantage over you, he's going to dominate. But I don't think he does against this guy. Right? I think that this is going to be a lot of decisions. I think, like, how many fights we got over here? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think it's going to be. I think we're going to see at least eight decisions here. At least 8, maybe 9 decisions on this card. My over under on decisions is 9. Very, like I said, inconsistent fighters. It could go the other way, and we're going to see like what the over under is on finishes on the card. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Like and subscribe as always. I might leave you guys soon. I just might smoke a cigar out here a while, but nah. Why? As always, I could just smoke the cigar, drink the rest of the beer, and talk to you. Especially if someone was here in the chat in the comments section, but nobody's here. I'm assuming you're over there with Ranj or some of the other cappers right now. They're probably here this evening. I didn't plan it out. I'm not here every time, but hope you guys watch it. Watch the stuff. Learn about cigars. Learn about beers. Learn about watches. Watches are good, guys. Watches are cool. I appreciate it. I see a lot of younger people now with watches. I see a lot of the young guys like starting to like get into the watches too. I was in the watch game a long time ago. I wish I was stayed into it, and then I got out of it because I didn't need a watch. Who really needs a watch? I don't fucking need a watch. Besides the phone, I don't even know. As long as I get the fucking work on time, I don't fucking need that shit. You know? And I'm really late to work. If I'm late, I'm really late. I slept through all my fucking alarms. I'm pretty exhausted and tired. I'm not going to sleep through my alarm tonight. I got some good sleep this afternoon finally, but man, traveling back from Costa Rica took a long time, guys. It took a lot out of me. I think that's like the only bad part of the trip was the whole flight thing. Catching flights the way we were able to catch flights was just not good, not fun. Solid 8, guys. A little too young, a little too unripe, heavy cedar, heavy earth, just not as smooth and refined as we want it to be to get past an 8. I think it's reached its threshold. Well constructed, great draw, great burn, but just isn't going to reach that threshold where we need it to be a little bit better. I had a thought there, but the thought was like work related. You guys don't need to hear that. I would just about work. What I would say is like when you work with good people, appreciate the time that you're working with those people, and talk to them. Let them know if they're having any kinds of problems, like with the job. Like even if they don't know it, at our place, it's like it's easy to know that you're not in trouble or not having a problem. Like I have a problem. Like right now, I'm restricted with my traveling, not my traveling, but like trading schedules. Things, people just don't communicate things well in certain organizations, but they function well. And that's what I would say about a disappointment that I had that a coworker of mine got fired. I didn't know that he was like having bad attendance. He was never late on my team, and it's just a shame that he was let go because he was an asset to the company. He really was a good worker. I don't know the background of like what he was doing, why he was late or absent or whatever. I didn't notice it, right? Because he was never late when I thought he was supposed to be on schedule. He was never late with me, and every time he was working with me, he was never late to a flight, never late to a function. Always was looking out for the best of the company. Always looking out for the best of me as a crew chief, like making sure that we were there. Never left my side in a way. I love that shit. Like help me out. You know what I mean? Like to me, I wish that I was thinking in my head. I wish that I had a say so whether he was fired or not. They came to say to me, "Hey, what was up with this guy? How did he work? He had bad attendance here, but how did he work with you?" And I would have, like, I can't believe he had bad attendance. I didn't know he had bad attendance. He didn't know. He didn't know he had bad attendance because he just didn't read the information that was provided. Nobody actually came up to him and said, "Hey, you're on restriction. You're in jeopardy of losing your job." And ended up losing the job, and it's a shame because like now I'm back in that particular area, and I think one guy that I worked with is going to come back and work with me, and whereas I wish I would have had both the guys, I would have had with him again, and it would have made my job easier, and all of our jobs easier because it's all about the teamwork, man. Guys, it's no lie, it's no bullshit. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass, even though I'm a smoker. You're only as good as your team members. You're only as good as your coworkers. No matter how good of a leader, how good of a worker you are, when you need a team, you need a team. You need those players to be on the field, be conscious of what they're doing. And I've messed up myself, of course, because I'm new in this particular leadership. But overall, I think I've done a good job. And the better people, or the people that I work with, the easier, of course, but the people that want to work and that want to do a job really well, it makes it easy as well. And I think I'm happy that I'm getting one of my coworkers coming back with me, a guy I worked before. He's going to come back and work with me because we get the shit done. As the bottom line is we get the shit done. We put in the work, do it well. Like we might complain here or argue about something or mention something, but bottom line is we do our work efficiently, we do it safely, we get the job done, we're there, and everyone's happy. Customers are happy, supervisors are happy, safety's happy, company's happy, we just do a good job. And I just regret that that person is gone when I think I could have, if he just stayed, he could have been with me now still. We could have been back. Whole band could have been together. So now we're missing our drummer, right? I got my guitarist. My guitarist I think is going to come back with me. I hope. If he doesn't, that's all right. And they say that I chose wrongly because I'm going to be in a busier spot, whatever. I don't think so. Because I got a good right hand person. I got my number one, right? I got the lead guitarist, but I did need that drummer. I need that third person to really make sure that we're all in harmony, making good music, doing the work really well. And it's a shame, but it is what it is, Something I don't do enough, and it's definitely that's one of the errors that I have in life, not in life, but in general, is I always think that I'm doing well in terms of like my work because I have a strong work ethic. I always think that's enough, and it really isn't. Right? Even in my leadership, it isn't. It isn't enough. Like there are other angles to what I do that I need to do better, that I need to improve upon, and that I need to make sure that besides the management knows that at least my workers know. I'm happy. Like I mentioned that I was coming back to this particular work area, and the worker that was there was like, I texted him and he's like, I'm there again, man. Happy to see you back. Let's go. Like that made me feel really happy, man. That's the biggest compliment that you could find as a leader, as a crew chief, as somebody, as a supervisor, when you have workers that want to work for you or not work because they don't work for me. They work with me. They work with me. That's the best compliment I could ever have. I'm stoked on that. I'm looking forward to that. I hope he does follow through with it. I'm looking for that third. You guys out there, you guys know where I work. I'm looking for that third. I'm looking for that third person. Come work with me work with me, and let's just do our job. Stay safe. Follow through with our stuff. Stack up some hours. Make some trips. Do what we got to do to do what we do better, to get better at what we do. To stay safe. Keep our job security. Keep our efficiency good. I'm just that I think I'm about. That's what I'm thinking about, guys. I'm thinking about other stuff, but I'm thinking about how good my team could have been if I still had that guy, right? Like I needed my drummer, I needed that third guy, and he's gone for stuff that I wasn't aware of. If he had just come up to me and be like, hey, but he wasn't aware of it himself. Quiet guy, just wasn't aware that he was in jeopardy. In our big corporation, it's hard to know that you're in jeopardy. Sometimes, no one. It's just a shame. It's a shame, but hopefully I get my other dude with me, and I think even as a 1-2 punch, like us two could manage it together. Like I just need one. You can't do it yourself. Any job, no matter how good you are, especially even a boss, the best bosses, the best supervisors, the best leaders know that they cannot do everything themselves. Even the best friends, like when you're traveling, it is a collaborative. It is something that you guys have to all work together to make your experience better. Even whether you're on vacation, whatever you're doing, you need other people. We cannot operate successfully in a vacuum. And the guys that do generally are not scumbags, but they have no real interest in enhancing or making you better. And they're going to cap off at a certain point. Sure, they're going to be successful. They're going to cap off. Would I say I've capped off? Yeah, sure, of course I've capped off. But I'm at the level now where I'm able to try to instill what I've learned over the years into other people. And hopefully that enables them to exceed what I do and exceed what they expect, right? Exceed their own expectations. But yeah, I didn't go live in Costa Rica. It's too bad. Befriend me on Facebook, Roberto Lopez. him, Liam. Get him, Liam. Wow, still no participation from no one. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Am I still alive? Am I still alive? Do you have volume? Test, test, test. Yeah, I got volume. It's a tough live show without any participation, guys. Very hard. Let me know in the comment section what your aspirations, guys, are. Whatever you guys are aspiring to do, let me help you guys do it. Let me talk shit about it. Hard work is just not enough. I've been working hard and smart my whole life, and yeah, I've made my mistakes, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Maybe I'm smoking too much, sipping and smoking too much, but it's still good. A lot of fun. Life's good, guys. Life's been good. Life's been really good to me. Been doing really good stuff. Hope to continue doing good stuff. Next month is my vacation. I was hoping to go to Indonesia. Man, it's going to be hard because, like, flying standby, like, it's a challenge. Man, you're spending, like, 3 days, 2 to 3 days of your time just traveling, right? If you're going far. If you're going to, like, a distance, you're spending 2 to 3 days. And you might only have 5 days vacation or 6 days or whatever to go very far. So, got to be smarter, get even more days, save up even more money. It's even more of a challenge for me right now under restriction that I'm under. Not cool, but plans may change, but that might just be that I go somewhere else that's even closer, that's just going to be easier. I might just be back in Mexico again. That's not disappointing. I really want to still head out to Indonesia, Japan, Thailand. So if any of my fans out there have a connection or live out there that makes it even better, like, yo, I'll come visit you, stay at your place, make it cheaper, make it easier, come pick me up. I'll have a surfboard with me or 2 surfboards. If you're in Thailand or Japan, if you're in Indonesia, even better. But that's the goal. We're going to do that. It's still the intent. It's going to be even more of a challenge right now. It's going to be more of a challenge, but I think it could still happen. I'll trade more days in the future. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Make those things happen, guys. Don't like. I always talk to MMA news, like, says no. Always thinking that, like, even people I'm with, even myself, always seem to find barriers and excuses to not do something, and it is harder, and you could have less time. Maybe you only get 3 days where you're going, in France or Italy, and you're there for 3 days. Maximize those days. Don't drink as much. Don't party as much. Fucking make a plan. Go on a tour. Already force yourself. Pay for the tour. Go on the tour because you got to do it. There's not like, oh no, I'll just look around. No, put your money down. Go on a tour because you already put the money down. You have no choice but to go on that tour and do it. Right? That might be better than just trying to wing it. Depending on how you are. I'm a good winger. My mother was a winger. I'm a good winger. Like yesterday, I winged it in Atlanta. The other dudes did great stuff too, but I did good stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, I separated from my group, but I did some good stuff. Went to a cool place. Got on a scooter, drove through town. Drove through town to a brewery, saw the city a little bit, got a different taste of what of life was there. It's all good. It's all very positive. And then when I get the brewery's fabulous. Already had good food, so I'm having good beer, chilling out, nice spot. Go home, go to a hotel, make my flight. Everything's good. It's a win-win situation. Could it have been better? But yeah, sure. Do not let ash fall on this cheap Chinese shit. It could turn the fire real fast. But let the ash fall. What do you guys think of the new backyard setup? I'm not happy with the new backyard setup. It's not mine. I'm not feeling it. But it's not my decision, like most things in life. Almost looks like a set. It's okay. Still burns very nice, very evenly. Again, strong earth tones, now burning a little hotter. I think this is, for the price, not the best cigar. Good cigar, but I think we found some others in a lower price point that were more consistent, had better flavors, had a better story to them, could have aged better. We're still in that 8, because I think this has more potential of being like a very robust flavored, interesting, and very just a very flavorful cigar. Like the cedar was, and the earth, and that ripeness, or the lack of it, the little slight lack of it, has it being like a much better cigar than what it is right now. So this is a cigar that you buy to sit. It's a must buy, but buy to sit. Don't expect to smoke it right away. So I bought another one, the habanero from Espinosa. This is the Azulejo. So I'm going to keep the other one up. What are you doing? I'm going to keep the other cigar for a while. It's Rio, the doggy. I'm going to keep the other one in the humidor for a little bit. This looks wrong. Come on up there. Come on up there. Don't get my crotchy. Get in there. Yeah, it stands as an 8, really finishing well. Strong oils, excellent aromas, great burn, great draw. We're staying at the 8, guys, but I think it can get better. It is a buy. I think like I mentioned before, earlier today, all the cigars I've had here are a buy. I don't think we've had a bad cigar in our review system here, in our reviews. Very disappointing that there are no. Oh, look, my dog's purring. Disappointing that none of you guys came out to support me. I got no audience. You cold, buddy? Well, that's all right, guys. I think we provided enough MMA insight that I needed to provide. I think a lot of these guys, they're blowing smoke at you. I'm blowing smoke at you, but it's like cigar smoke. I'm not like making picks and making qualifying things that I haven't researched, that I'm not feeling strongly about, that I wouldn't bet either, right? And I think these people are making content to make content, and they just are talking to talk. I am too, but I don't think I'm providing any information that's going to hurt you or that leads you away to waste your money. Contrary to what I said before. Look through the history of the my channel. Look at all the stuff that we've done, and now at this point we have a great. And I wish I stuck with it to an extent, because we're at the point now where I need to go back to the old format, because there's so many new fighters. Like, so we need to build up that database where you could hear what I've said about a fighter before, and when I'm speaking to them now in the present, you could go back and reference it and see how it's changed. And I'll know what it is, because I'll go back, because that's what I do. Like when I did the old channel, I would like, oh, this fighter, what did I say to them about them before? I'd go back and watch my analysis of their last fight, last analysis I made, and would build on it or criticize it, or I wouldn't try to contradict it, but I would change it and just go from there. And I think a lot of us don't do that. A lot of the cappers really don't research or check themselves on what they have said before or how they have performed previously about a fighter. They won't mention. And they certainly won't mention if they've lost money on that fighter. One thing I've noticed about all these people, like, they do not mention their failures, and I get it. In this arena, especially the MMA picking speculation area, you don't want to like admit that you failed, and I do. And I've always been transparent with you. I'm going to continue being transparent with the beer, transparent with me, transparent with the cigars. You're always going to get that genuine honesty about everything, and it's all right. You know, I wish there was more participation, because I need you as fans. I need people to try to interact with me so that I could like comment, so, you know, make the content more rich, more interesting. If it isn't just me spouting and just hear this ranting or just this stream of consciousness around cigars and beer and MMA, like that there is something substantiated where we're in a discussion, but that's okay. I still appreciate everybody. I want everybody to come on in. I am 0-59 of late, is what Brian said, that I've lost a bunch of, and I have. My last few cards were that I like put stuff out there was pretty bad. I've made some pretty bad bets, but lately it hasn't been horrible, because I haven't been betting. I spent that money on Costa Rica. I was in Costa Rica the past 5 days, and the lack of betting and not the money making. I wish I made more money, but the lack of betting made certain that at least I ran out of money the last day, and didn't have to struggle the first day. Tell him, Rio. Mm-hmm. He's pouting. Very nice cigar. 8 Espinosa. We're gonna go to a cigar factory this year after we go to Indonesia on my vacation, or maybe we change it. Maybe I go to a cigar factory. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows what we're gonna do? It's still gonna be a great vacation. It's still gonna be interesting, and I'm gonna bring you guys along with me, whether it's a surfing vacation, a cigar vacation, a beer vacation, or probably tequila, but not a beer vacation, but a cigar vacation. Because I mentioned before in the channel, I want to go to a certain place in Mexico. I could go there day or two, go to the coast, still surf, little cigar review, surf and still like go to a cigar factory, check all it out. And if you look back, I want to go to this one place in the Yucatan Peninsula, that one, cacheta, I forget the name of the word that was said, but I want to go there where they make the cigars in Mexico or Honduras, maybe the Espinosa factory. I get permission, we get full access to the Espinosa factory. Somebody who is a camera person, wants to join me, documentarian, willing to help, really appreciate it. Comment in the comment section. Let me know if you're down, have the time to do something like that. I do. I'm leaving July 21st week, or that 28th to the August week. Let me know if you have equipment. Let me know if you're interested in joining me. I'd appreciate it. Maybe, I don't know about pay for play, but we'll definitely do something. You can definitely make content. One more beer. You're the star, Rio. What'd you tell the guys? Did you give them some good picks? Huh? Did you give some good picks? Did you, buddy? Not one participant today, guys. Disappointing, very challenging, very hard. It's like my dog, he's disappointed. So am I. I'm going to go listen to some country music. Chill out up here, or out here, and enjoy the rest of the cigar. Enjoy this beer, right? And and if you are about better, you made it this far, you are about better. I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Look forward to a good end of summer, guys. Cautious with the bets this weekend. Dope. Fantastic vacation I had. Ask some questions in the comments section. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Good cigars, good beer, good life. Stay safe. Appreciate all of you. Thank you. Ugh.